Okay, so my experiment is apple browning based off the different solutions. So I have my solutions here: baking soda, salt, water, vinegar, milk, and sugar. And I'm going to cut this apple into slices to test and put them in baggies for the next few days and test um, the apple browning to see which apples brown the fastest and slowest based off the solutions that they are in. So now that my apples are cut, I will place them into these bags with each solution. Okay, so I now have each of my solutions in a bag, and I use a half cup for each. So now I'm gonna wait and see which ones brown the fastest and see which ones don't brown at all maybe. So yeah. I'm also gonna test these for the next 3 days. So today, Wednesday, Thursday, and by Friday I'll take a look at the results and then post them for the final project to see what the experiment will give me. Okay, so this is day 2. So I started yesterday, Wednesday, today is Thursday, and I labeled my bags with each solution so I kind of remember. And so far it looks like the vinegar is she's struggling. She is browning. Seems like the milk is doing pretty good. This one is browning. Can't really see too much from what I kind of peeled away. It was browning. The water is chill. The salt and the sugar kind of all like turned into liquid, which I think is interesting. The sugar is turning brown. It's like yellowing, but it's not browning quite yet. Between the sugar and the salt is doing better than the sugar. So I'll come back tomorrow and see the results. Okay, these are my results. This guy is struggling. My hypothesis was that the vinegar would brown the most, which is correct, and that the salt would brown the least, which is also correct. So it's nice to see that. This is my final result before I bag them up and put them on my board to do the presentation of the overall project. Okay, so this is my final result of my apple browning presentation. Hopefully you can see. I'll zoom in so I can be in it and stuff. Apple browning, so the objective is students will need to experiment with the different solutions, being these 6 here, to determine how it helps keep the apple from browning. Students will experiment with the different solutions to determine how long a cut sliced apple takes to brown and which substance slows browning the best. Each solution had the same amount of solutions in the bag. So I tested these for 3 days, starting on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Today was the final result. The standard that is being covered is 5 physical science 1-4 plan and carry out investigation to determine whether changes to matter, such as exposing apple slices to air and adding liquid, result in chemical change. So using the observations and data to support my conclusion. So I used 6 solutions: baking soda, water, salt, sugar, vinegar, and milk. So the problem that I wanted to look at was apples turn brown after they are cut, because the oxygen reacts to the enzymes in the fruit. So certain liquids or substances may slow this reaction. The problem I am testing is which solution, so the 6 that I stated, will keep an apple slice from browning the longest, so the 3 days. And I want to determine when apple slices start browning. So I do have videos of each day of how they're going. And I'm gonna flip the camera really quick. So my objective, my standard, the apples. So baking soda, yuck. Water, yuck. Salt, okay. Milk was the winner, yay! Got stars around it. Vinegar, terrible, disgusting. And then the sugar. So then all these are my independent variables, and then my dependent variable would be how brown each apple slice becomes, and then my controlled variables were the bag, the liquid, the amount of liquid, and then the time that I decided to look. Okay, and my conclusion is the purpose of this experiment was to find out which liquid slows down apples browning best. Based on the result, the apples in milk showed the least amount of browning. Yay, I'll do up close. Apples soaked in the salt and sugar were second most effective, while apples in vinegar were the most affected and browned the most. My hypothesis was half correct, as I did believe the vinegar would be most effective for the apples in this experiment. This experiment shows how different substances affect the oxidation in fruit. So once again, here are my results for each. And milk. My conclusion, my hypothesis. Thank you.